Hey guys, we are going to make pupusas today. De frijoles con queso. So that's what we're going to do today. I'm going to show you how to make the masa, how to make the beans, and I'm not making the cheese, I'm just buying it. So anyway, I will show you how to do that. So if you want to learn how to make pupusas, keep watching. All right, to make the masa, we're going to be using Maseca, all right? And I used 2 cups of Maseca to 2 cups of water, okay? And that's what we're going to use. So I'm just going to pour this and going to mix this until it's all nice and mixed together, okay? And we're going to mix this really good. And once we do that, we're gonna let the masa rest for 30 minutes, okay? 3 minutes. We want it to be nice and mixed where it's not really sticking too much, but it does have a stick to it. And it's nice and soft. We want it really nice and soft. Now, if you feel that your masa is not too soft, you can add add water, but add it by a teaspoon. Don't add too much water at the same time, because then you can just overdo it. All right, so that should be nice and soft, okay? It should just come off just like that. I'm going to leave it into a ball. I'm going to cover it with a plate right on top. I don't know, I just feel like this has a better seal on it, so I'm just gonna leave it there for 30 minutes. And then in 30 minutes, I'll come back to do the pupusas when I'm ready to put them into the comal. But meanwhile, this sits, we're gonna do the beans. All right, so to this, as always for my beans, I'm gonna start by putting a little bit of lard in there so I can refry the beans. So I'm taking about that much and letting it melt in there. And once that's melted, I'll put in the beans. For the beans, I already drained them, because you want these dry, because you want them to be dry, not wet. Okay, so just like that, I drained the liquids. I'm going to use some comino, salt and pepper, and then this I'm just going to use to mash the beans up, okay? The little glass jar there. So I'm just gonna wait till this melts, and then I'll put in the beans and I'll show you how I mash them. All right, and I already put the beans in there. I just mix them so they all can get some of that lard in it. Okay, to that I'm just going to add some comino. Okay. To this, you're going to put to taste. If you don't like comino, you don't have to put it. You put as much salt as you want. It's to your taste, okay? On that, it's however you like your beans. All right. So that's my salt and pepper, and I'm just going to mix it up. Make sure it has all mixed. And now I'm going to start mashing it with the bottom of this thing. For me, it's just better to do it this. You can blend it if you want to in a blender, or if you have a food processor, you can do it there, just kind of pulsating until you get like a really mashy texture. All right, so your beans should be about this consistency, okay? So nice, and you don't want to cook it. You just kind of want to warm them up to be able to mash them and kind of combine the flavors together. And now this is going to sit here. It's going to cool. Once the time for the masa is set, like 30 minutes, then I'm going to stuff this in the middle. So I'll show you guys that when the time comes. As for the cheese, I am using it's a queso seco, like, I don't know, it's a dry cheese, sort of like cotijas, or if you're familiar with cincho, like that. And I just lo rayé todo, and I put it in this little Tupperware. or you can use cotija if you want, or you can use like Chihuahua cheese if you want that instead. With the Chihuahua cheese, just make sure that that's a very melty cheese, so it's going to come out wet. So when you do your pupusas, make sure you cover that really good so that way it doesn't come out of the pupusa. All right, so I'll show you guys when that's ready though, okay? Okay, so now we're ready to make the pupusas. I already started heating up this comal, which I've been putting just oil on it like this. It will get smoked up, but my comal sucks. So anyway, we'll grab a good amount of masa. I'm not gonna make them too big, so I'm taking about that much, okay? And we're gonna roll it and flatten it out until we get a nice flat, sort of like tortilla. And I'll show you once I have it done. All right, so I have that tortilla about like that, okay? I'm going to take about that much, maybe a little bit more, okay? Remember, you're gonna kind of spread it in there, so you can pour more of it, but I'm just going to do this, make a little ball, and then flatten it up and make that tortilla again, okay? So that's how we do it. And then I just go to the edges and kind of flatten it out. Make sure you're flattening out those edges. All right. And once you have it all nice and flat, then you put that on your comal. Mine is not perfectly circled, but it don't matter because it's gonna go to the same place, which is the stomach. And that's how we're gonna do it. And then you just keep doing them, and then I'll show you once they start flipping. All right, let me show you once again. So I already put the beans. You're gonna make it into a ball again like this, and then you're just going to start flattening it out. I haven't found a way to do it with the tortillera. It doesn't seem easier with the tortillera. So if you can do it that way, do it that way. I just think it's easier for me to do it with my hands than to do it with the tortillera. So you don't want them too thick either, so kind of make sure that you're flattening them out a pretty good amount. So about that thickness maybe. If you can go thinner with that, then go ahead. All right, and then we lay it there, and then I'm gonna flip it over. So it doesn't take too long. So this is. So one important thing, make sure that you have your comal not at a very high temperature. My temperature is at low. It's like, if there's numbers on it, it's on a 4, but I have the simmer selection on it. So it's really low, like it's not a very high heat that I have it in. And what I am also doing, because I'm not putting the oil on my hands, I'm just grabbing a little brush and then just putting a little bit of oil on the side, on top of it like that, just so it can, when I flip it, it kind of cooks with it too. So it just kind of helps the cooking process. So that's just a little, I guess, you know, tip that you guys can use.